Just before we get into this video, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, the links are here. And if you also want to support me on Patreon as well and help out my channel, that would be absolutely awesome as well. But let's get on with the video. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I said that Breaking Bad is potentially the greatest show of all time, and I've got to admit, I was slightly off on that. I actually prefer this one. So hey guys, it is Wingy here. Hope you are coping well with the lockdown, which is seemingly gonna happen for the rest of our lives now, so hope you enjoy it. Anyway, today we are going to be doing another episode of Why You Should Watch, and today it's going to be, of course, about the Breaking Bad prequel slash spin-off known as Better Call Saul, starring Bob Odenkirk returning as Saul Goodman, or in this case, Jimmy McGill, because that's his actual real name. Don't know why I said actual and real. One of them would have done. So throughout this video, guys, I am going to mention certain spoilers up to and including the season 5 finale of Better Call Saul. So if you haven't seen it, then fucking watch it, because that's what this is about. But anyway, I will talk about non-spoilery stuff first, so we'll get to that. So like I say, it is the prequel slash spin-off to Breaking Bad, but this time it features about Saul Goodman and how he actually became Saul Goodman. Now, in terms of what you are getting as a show, this is not Breaking Bad. So I don't want people who absolutely adore Breaking Bad to go to this and expect a similar sort of thing, because it's never going to be about that, you know. Breaking Bad was about this guy who had cancer, which weirdly I didn't actually mention in my Breaking Bad video, and obviously he doesn't have a very good home life, so he wants to make money, so he makes meth, and then all chaos ensues. This is not that type of show. This is seeing a similar sort of thing, which is see a decent guy descend into something that realistically they truly are, but it's done in a totally different way. And the fall of Jimmy McGill and the rise of Saul Goodman is just as fascinating. For me personally, it's more fascinating than the transformation from Walter White to Heisenberg. That's probably a controversial opinion, I know. This doesn't take away from Breaking Bad. This is just me saying personally, the show that I get with Better Call Saul is one that, so far at least, because it's still not done, one that I actually prefer. I find Jimmy 1,000 times more relatable than Walter White. And I think the reason for that is because Jimmy McGill is a guy who, deep down, wants to be the best possible person that he can be, but he has to accept that realistically he's never gonna be the best lawyer, you know, the top dog. He's never gonna be the corporate guy. He's gonna be Slippin' Jimmy, who is his nickname from when he was a young con man. But I think the more fascinating thing about Better Call Saul, or at least the journey of Jimmy McGill, is how he lowers every single person in his life to his level, and watching other people drop down to his level is something that is both fascinating and heartbreaking at the same time. What makes the journey even more fascinating is that he's essentially got an angel and a devil on each shoulder. The devil would be his brother, Chuck, and the angel would be his love interest, Kim Wexler. Now, both of those characters are also lawyers. They are both very, very, very good lawyers. Chuck, being his brother, knows Jimmy the best he possibly can and knows exactly who he really is deep down, and part of Chuck is actually jealous of Jimmy. But seeing that relationship and seeing Chuck just despise Jimmy, despite him doing everything he possibly can to make his brother proud, meaning Jimmy to Chuck, making him proud, you can really see the cracks of Jimmy McGill and Saul Goodman peeping through every now and again with that relationship, because Jimmy tries his best to not be the person that Chuck thinks that he is. However, the more and more Chuck just chips away at him and breaks him, the more and more he's just like, you know what, fine, I'll be that person. On the opposite side, you've got Kim, who is honestly the biggest MVP out of any of these shows, because she is just fucking awesome. Like, obviously she's not in Breaking Bad, so I don't know what's going to happen to her. I think everyone is wondering what's going to happen to Kim. I have no fucking idea, but I hope to God she gets some sort of decent ending. But watching the show, you kind of understand that she's probably not going to get that. Why? Why can't all the good characters get good endings? It's fucking bullshit. She's basically there to pick up the pieces of Jimmy, but she encourages him, not in the way to, you know, break the law and be this criminal lawyer and cut corners, but she encourages him to be the best person that he possibly can be. But she does it in a way that Chuck never could. What I also love about Better Call Saul is, obviously it's a prequel, so by the time Breaking Bad happens, Saul Goodman is already established. So we know that regardless of what Chuck says, regardless of what Kim says, or any other person in his life, we know he is going to be Saul Goodman, and he is going to be that con man criminal lawyer. But what I also appreciate is the fact that we get glimpses into the future. So at the start of every season, there is a black and white flash forward about how after Breaking Bad, he said he'd be lucky to be a manager at a Cinnabon in Omaha, which is exactly where he is, and he's now Gene. And like I say, these flash forwards, they basically give you a little nugget of Saul's life or Jimmy's life after the whole events of Breaking Bad with Walter White. And that story is just as fascinating as well. You don't get to see too much stuff. It's literally like the first 5 minutes of the first episode of each season, but where that ends up, I'm so curious to see. You know, is Kim still going to be around for him? Is he going to get caught by the police? Is he going to die? Is he just going to live in fear and hiding for the rest of his life? Like, we don't actually know. And I like that in a show that is supposed to be a prequel, that it still gives you questions. It still gives you stuff to think about. It's not a simple case of, okay, well, we're just going to see how he ends up from the guy at the start of season 1 to Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. No, they give you more than that. And in fact, with certain characters, they sort of take over the show. So a character like Kim, you're more interested in her and her story and where she ends up than you are with Jimmy's, because you already know that he will be Saul Goodman. And like with Breaking Bad, you also get those what the fuck moments. They might not be as iconic or as awesome as the say my name, Heisenberg, you goddamn right, or the laughing underneath the cupboard, and you know, it's not going to be moments like that, but you still get really awesome heart-pounding moments throughout this entire show. But it also gives you a backstory of other Breaking Bad characters as well. So Mike is a really prominent character in this series, and you see how he goes from this policeman who's retired, who just cares about his family, to Gus Fring's hitman. You also see the Salamanca family, who are obviously the big cartel guys in Breaking Bad, and you see how Hector goes from Don Hector, this well-respected cartel member, to this guy who rings a bell in a wheelchair. You see the beginnings of Gus Fring's empire as well. Like, there's so many different things that link up to Breaking Bad. This show is genius because you can't really piss on Breaking Bad, but you can expand on it, and it does it in a way that isn't disrespectful to Breaking Bad. It doesn't tarnish your memory of it. You don't see a certain character and their motivations and think, oh, I kind of just like how they were in Breaking Bad. It ties in with it perfectly. By the end of season 5, you really see how Jimmy is pretty much almost gone, but he still at the same time realizes who he truly is. But I think the most heartbreaking thing, and this is where the spoilers come in, the most heartbreaking thing is he's taking Kim with him. And that's why I think it's so fascinating to see where this actually goes, because throughout the entire thing, Kim is so good at her job and is so much better than Jimmy. Like, I watched Jeremy John's review, and what he said was perfect. You get the impression that Jimmy would always end up as Saul, irrespective of who he had in his life. But you get the impression that Kim could have been the best fucking lawyer on the planet if she hadn't have met Jimmy. And now she's being dragged down to his level. But the sad thing is, it's not through manipulation, it's because she wants to do it. And that's what's fascinating. But mix that in with the cartel, with Lalo Salamanca, who is one of the most batshit people in the entire fucking thing. Like, he's one of those charismatic villains that you like him, but you're terrified of him at the same time. Like, you could easily sit and have a beer with him, but if you say one thing wrong, you're getting a bullet in the fucking brain. I mean, the episode in the desert was phenomenal. Like, the tense nature of that entire thing of Saul and Mike in the desert with one guy after them, like, that was awesome. Like, this show offers so much, but it offers essentially Breaking Bad, but a different flavour, a different spin on it. You do get that descent of a guy who was always destined to be this person, but just wasn't quite there yet. You know, it's like ordering a beef burger and a chicken burger. They're both phenomenal, they're both brilliant, but they both have different stuff. You know, with a beef burger, you'd add on, you know, your cheese and your lettuce and your onion and your ketchup or mustard, and then with a chicken burger, you're more likely to have mayo and different type of lettuce, maybe red onion, maybe no onion, maybe a different bun. I don't know where I'm going with this, but basically the point is, it's similar sort of thing, but different styles and different flavours. So personally for you, whatever you like, I prefer I don't actually prefer chicken burger, I do prefer beef, but in this case I do prefer Better Call Saul. Maybe it's recency bias, I don't know, but I genuinely do love this show, and I think if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, definitely check this out. It's not going to ruin anything, it's not going to spoil anything, it's not going to change how you feel about certain characters. It will add depth to those feelings. So if you like Mike before, you'll love Mike now. If you were intrigued or found Saul Goodman entertaining, now you'll probably find him heartbreaking, but also understand why he is who he is. Gus Fring, I think, is more terrifying in this show. And also Hank appears, which is fucking awesome. However, it's only for like 2 episodes, so that was a bit of a piss take. Better Call Saul, have you seen it? What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't seen it and this video makes you want to go and check it out, then come back to me later on and let me know if you enjoyed it. Again, it is like Breaking Bad. It's not going to hook you from episode 1. You have to just stick with it, and you'll get to a certain point where you're like, right, okay, I'm on board fully now. For me, I hit that point a lot sooner with Better Call Saul. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description as always, so if you would follow me on any of those things, I would absolutely love you forever. But till next time guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye.